You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham, and it is mailbag time here on the channel. If you got a question, drop a hashtag Chiefs or a super chat, and we will answer as many of your questions as we can. From Ryan, who should we pick in round 1 and 2 in the NFL draft? I think round 1 options, if you're going specifically by need, and obviously teams don't do that, they draft best player available in combination with need more often than not. Now, the Chiefs can be more picky because they don't have as many needs, but I think some potential positions. Wide receiver. If you don't get DeAndre Hopkins or Brandon Cooks, or Cooks went to Dallas, DeAndre Hopkins or OBJ, that makes a lot of sense. Edge rusher. I know you've signed Charles Omenihu, but you lost Frank Clark. You could certainly get another pass rusher there. This draft is pretty good with pass rushers. Beyond that, right tackle, I'm comfortable with Lucas Niang, but if this team wants to draft an Anton Harrison or someone like that to give him competition, Jalen Duncan, I wouldn't be opposed. So those are a few positions I would target. Ollie Olich, what's the trade value for Chris Jones, and why is no extension done at this point? Greetings from Germany. Greetings to Ollie. Appreciate you tuning in from Germany. I would say a reason a deal isn't done is just because you don't have to rush these things. He's got a full year left on his contract. I think you would get, I don't know if you'd get 2 firsts for Jones. You'd for sure get 1 plus more. I mean, he is arguably the best interior pass rusher in the NFL at this point. I think he might be more valuable than Aaron Donald because he's younger. Plus, Donald could retire at any point. So I think you'd get a lot for him. That being said, I think letting Frank Clark go is a clear sign that you want to keep Chris Jones for the foreseeable future. So I think an extension it could be in the works, and I think there's a good chance it happens before training camp. Nick Wobker, should the Chiefs trade up in the first round for a receiver? It's tricky to gauge where these receivers might go. Exactly. I think it's a feeling out process for Brett Veach. It's possible that the first 10 picks come and go and not a receiver's been taken. So if that's the case, you're feeling good if you're Brett Veach. It buys you time. 11 to 31 is a lot closer than 1 to 31, right? So I think Veach will kind of monitor things the first 10 to 15 picks, see how many, if any, receivers go. And if none go, he can probably be patient and wait till 31. But if a couple start to go in the teens and he really likes one of these guys, then he may have to move up and go get them. Ricky Tide Roller, should the Chiefs trade Willie Gay Jr. after signing Drue Tranquill? Roll Tide, I used to have a pal named Ricky that loved Alabama. Haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, hopefully he's doing well. I hope he's watching. It's interesting. We talked about this on the show over the last week, Thursday, Friday, the day the Tranquill signing came down, and I think it was Friday. And he played Will linebacker a lot for the Chargers last year, which is what Willie Gay plays mostly here because Nick Bolton's the middle. So are they going to play Tranquill at Sam? Is Gay potentially on the trade block? I don't know what's going to happen here. I would like to keep all 3 with Bolton because I think that could be nasty, but there's only so many snaps that go around. I find that fascinating. Definitely something to watch. What should Kansas City do with Willie Gay? Type T for trade or K for keep? I think they should keep him. I like the way he plays and the way he fits on this defense, but maybe you feel differently. T for trade or K for keep. Next up is Layla Joe. Is it possible to sign OBJ and D-Hop and have them on the same team? And if so, would you? Well, Des Bryant says they should go get both. I don't think getting both makes a ton of sense because, if you trade for D-Hop, if you're Odell Beckham, you're saying, I'm going somewhere else. They got a lot of receivers. They chose Hopkins. I'm going a different route. And vice versa. If you sign OBJ, I don't think Hopkins is, really wanting to get traded to the Chiefs at that point. So, look, I mean, if they're both cheap, if OBJ is super cheap, it could happen. I just don't think the Chiefs would go that route. Braden Perez, is OBJ worth the deal Juju got? I think 3 years, 25 in terms of average annual value, $8-9 million a year. I think he's worth that, but is he worth it over 3 years? I don't know. I wouldn't give OBJ more than a 2-year deal with his injury history, so it's kind of a tough one to say. I would lean no, but $8 million a year is also not a ton. So even if it didn't work out, I don't think it would completely bury you financially or with cap hits for the future. Excuse me. Stephen Beal. The new safety from Tampa was a nice pickup. Yeah, I like the Mike Edwards addition. good third safety. He didn't have the best year of his career last year, but he makes plays on the football. And I think for a third safety, you're okay if you get a guy that gambles a bit back there. So, yeah, we know Spags likes to use three safety lineups quite a bit, and I think he'll have an opportunity to see some playing time this year. Subscribe to the channel and join our weekly mailbags here on the Chiefs Report. We go live on Mondays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central Time, so subscribe and join us. We will continue to keep you guys informed. Kate Chappell, do you think the Broncos are a legit threat to us with Sean Payton? Producer Sam says yes. I got to see it to believe it. I'll be honest, I don't love the rest of the coaching staff he put together, but Sean Payton deserves a lot of credit. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a top 10 coach in this league, maybe top 5. So really it comes down to Russell Wilson. If Russ ain't the guy, they're handicapped for a couple years at quarterback. So that's what it will come down to. If Russ can get back to peak Russ, then, yeah, I think they could be a factor. But if he plays closer to what he did last year, then I'm really not concerned. Tony Fuentes, I would like OBJ in Kansas City, but I don't see it. We'll see. I mean, with the Cowboys trading for Brandon Cooks, that probably takes them out of the running, according to reports. Now, maybe that changes. Maybe he's willing to sign there for cheaper. But, yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be multiple teams interested. So probability would say he would sign elsewhere more likely than the Chiefs. But I think the Chiefs are in the mix. I think there's mutual interest. Could come down to a contract. Keidron Smith, do you trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a first-round pick and some sevenths to go up to 20 to pick Seattle? So 31 Edwards-Helaire and sevenths. Well, the sevenths are virtually – there's a trade value chart for draft picks. Seventh-round picks are worth like 0 points. So I'll just pull it up real quick. The trade value chart, NFL draft – give me a second here, guys. Trade value chart. Let me just compare the 20th and the 31st pick. So the 20th pick, and this is not a perfect system, 850 points, right? It's on a point system. The Chiefs at 31, that's 600 points. So how do you find the other 250 points? Well, if it's just a draft pick, that's about a early mid third round pick. So if you're moving up to 20, you may have to trade 63, the last pick of the second round, because that's about the range. So you may have to trade your second. Now, maybe you get like a fifth back as well. And maybe if you're throwing in CH, maybe it's your third in CH. But I don't think CH is worth that much, guys. I really don't. So you're not quite there, Keidron, but 31 CEH and a third and a fourth, maybe that's the ballpark. Brett Veach has 12 picks to work with. So, you could throw one of those comp picks that they got as well. Laura Ortiz with the super chat. Appreciate that. Quick mock draft. Not today, but I will be doing a post-free agency Chiefs mock draft, so be on the lookout for that. Draft content will definitely increase here on the Chiefs Report, so definitely be sure to subscribe and be on the lookout for that. What was that, Sam? Okay, ideal pick at 31. Quentin Johnston if he falls there. Joe Fazio, what is your opinion about drafting Deuce Vaughn? What round will we have to draft him? Day 3. I mean, he's the shortest player at the history of the NFL Combine. That's going to back teams off. But he's a talented player. He's great in space. He catches the ball well. He plays fearlessly. I think he can be a return specialist in the NFL. Didn't do a ton of that in college, but I think that was because Kansas State was limiting his exposure because he got so many touches on offense. Fifth round, I'd take him in the 5th. I think that could be a proper range for him. Speaking of the NFL draft, how many members of Chiefs Kingdom follow the draft? If you do, prove it. Go subscribe to our draft channel, youtube.com/chatNFL. We're putting out mock draft coverage over there. We had a bunch of NFL Combine interviews uploaded to that channel if you want to go back and listen to those. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay mock drafts. We're going to do some team-specific draft coverage. Probably going to see some Chiefs draft videos from time to time over there. So if you're interested in the draft, we'll have some good draft coverage over there, youtube.com/chatNFL. Tom Downey leading that coverage, but you guys will see me from time to time as well. Chase Haddock, what other trade could the Chiefs do besides trading for DeAndre Hopkins? I mean, if they wanted to trade for like a dynamic pass rusher, like a Danielle Hunter type, that could be something that I'd be interested in. I'd have to think more. I would have said Brandon Cooks, but he went to Dallas. So, someone like that, is there an offensive tackle they could trade for to play right tackle, or play left tackle and have Juwan Taylor play right tackle? Possibly. So those are a couple of positions to monitor. Agent Naha, what is the possibility of bringing back Justin Houston, and how effective would he be? I don't know how possible it is. I'd like to see it happen, though. He's been productive since he's left the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs kind of thought he was semi-washed when they cut him, or that he'd definitely be on the decline, which in extent he has been, but he's still a really good pass rush. He had 9.5 sacks last year. So, yeah, bring him in here, get 6 to 8 sacks out of him. Let's go. I think he can definitely be your Carlos Dunlap of this year, maybe even be a little bit better. From Moishe Feldman, is Jarrett McKinnon coming back? I hope so. I still think he will. Remember last year, he was in no rush to sign. He didn't sign until training camp or right before, and obviously he had a great year, right? So I would like to see McKinnon back in the fold. I think the Chiefs will hang on to Clyde Edwards-Helaire at least until they bring in McKinnon or another running back, just for insurance. But obviously Pacheco's RB1, and I think McKinnon's an ideal RB2 right now. Christopher Huff with the $10 super chat. If you super chat, you can skip the line. Would you look for a kicker in the draft? So Harrison Butker had a bit of a funky year. Had one of the worst years, if not the worst year of his career. He was pretty good in the playoffs, but then he missed that kick in the Super Bowl that could have been costly. Did make the game winner, even though it was a chip shot. I think Butker will be the guy next year, and I would not draft one, but bring in a UDFA just to, make Butker sweat a bit. I'm not opposed to that. Make him, for sure earn the job in 2023. Will the Chiefs win Super Bowl 58 just like Harrison Butker helped them win Super Bowl 57? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Are the Chiefs going back to back? Give your thoughts in the comments. Got time for a few more. Another super chat from Kobe. Shout out Kobe. Can the Chiefs trade Marquez Valdes-Scantling or someone like that for D-Hop? In theory, if the Cardinals want to get a receiver back, Valdes-Scantling and a fourth for D-Hop, I'd probably do that, because then you would go D-Hop is your 1, Tony is your 2, Sky Moore is your 3. Re-sign Justin Watson as a depth guy, then take someone in the middle rounds. Those are your 5 receivers? Yeah, I'm in. Arrowhead news and rumors. Trade for Nick Bosa. Man, he would be unreal here next to Chris Jones. He would just cost so much, guys. You're going to have to pay a first, if not 2, and pay him $28, $30 million per year. I don't think it's in the Chiefs' budget, to be honest. Young Craze, what if we switch to a 3-4 defense and that's why we signed Tranquill? I don't think it's happening. Spags is the DC. They're not changing that. They switched from a 3-4 to a 4-3 with Spags. Doesn't mean they can't run some 4 linebacker sets from time to time, but maybe more than anything, it just means that they're going to run more 3 linebacker sets and less nickel next year. Maybe that could be in the works. Dale Webb Jr., how many more years does Travis Kelce have left? I think he could play another 5 years. Now, how many years does he have at a high level, best tight end in the league level? 2 to 3. He's going to be 34 next year. This past year, he was unbelievable. Now, I will say his production dipped a bit in the second half of the season. And I will say one thing the Chiefs did do is sub him out a little bit more, give him slightly less snaps, because I think they do want to extend his career. I would say 2 to 3 elite years left, and then 2 to 3 more good years, and then, probably retires at 38, something like that. He is still very dynamic. Tony Fuentes, will you go live during the draft? I would like to. We're going to try and make that happen. I think that could be in the works when they pick at 31, so be on the lookout. But, yeah, we'll see. The draft is unpredictable. If they trade the pick, that could throw a wrench into things. So stay tuned is what I would say. Casey Cali Chief with the super chat. You get the final word. What is your thought on Kansas City not picking up a receiver in free agency, but instead go with the Ross guy to see what you have? Justin Ross or John Ross, they have both. I just think Justin Ross to me is kind of like icing on the cake. If you get something out of him, great. But I don't think you enter the offseason with him as your number 4 receiver. That's just not a good way to operate with his neck issues. He couldn't even play as a rookie. It's, I think they're intrigued by him, but I don't think anyone in that organization is operating as if Justin Ross is a for sure thing, because that would be a bit reckless.